All right, welcome to day 42. I'm reading The Art of Focus by Dan Coe. I'm on page 157 if you are reading along. And we're going to start talking about the 4-hour workday. We're finishing up this first section here called Fill, Empty, Use. Fill your mind in the afternoons with books, learning, and conversations. Empty your mind with walks, training, and contemplation. Use your mind in the morning with creation, output, and focus. Now that we understand the importance of filling our mind with creative firepower and emptying our mind to allow space for creative emergence, we must use that to fuel our focused work. The 4-hour workday. 4 hours of focused work is better than 8 hours of distracted work. I don't have an exact date, but as I was building my first freelance business, the idea of a 4-hour workday registered in my awareness. There were talks of 4-hour work weeks by people like Tim Ferriss, but a 4-hour workday sounded realistic enough to make work for my level of mind at the time. The challenge pushed me toward long-term action rather than anxiety. I knew I had the resources, mental capacity, and desire to make that lifestyle real, even if it took a decade. This seemingly crazy idea stuck in my mind for years to come, and throughout my plethora of business failures, subconsciously I was making decisions to limit how much I worked to 4 hours each day. I was loosely identified as someone who could work less, yet achieve more than others, so my actions naturally followed to survive that identity I was building. This alone changed the direction of my life. Why? First, I perceived anything more than 4 hours of work as a problem. I had conditioned myself to view anything more than 4 hours of work as abnormal. Few people do this. Most people label this lifestyle as impossible, and then it becomes so. If I had never registered anything more than 4 hours of work as a problem, my mind would not register opportunities to create a solution for those problems. A meaningful goal acts as a filter for the information you are exposed to daily. This forced my mind to work on a creative solution for these specific problems to eliminate, systemize, or automate low-leverage work. At a job, that means organizing your highest priority of work, identifying distractions, and being honest with yourself about how much work you can actually do. Many people can reduce how much they work at their jobs, then spend that new time on actualizing their life's work. In business, that means outsourcing, productizing, or building more leverage. So that's what I did. For most people, this idealistic 4-hour workday cannot be accomplished immediately. It can, however, become a potent aspect of your vision so that you can begin to register opportunity in your awareness. The tips we discuss can help reduce the time you spend on work at your job, help you build out a side project in record time, or help you bring order to the uncertain nature of your entrepreneurial endeavors. As humans, we have a natural desire for more. We are driven to survive at all costs. Evolution reflects this. With our unique minds, we build systems to aid the survival of physical and mental forms. This may sound repetitive, and it is because it's important. Entropy never sleeps, and we must constantly work to protect the order we create in our lives. Systems layer on top of each other to make our mind more efficient. We get better at investing our mental energy. If we don't maintain these systems, they fall apart. Now, what does entropy have to do with focused work and productivity? If you don't systemize your path to success with time and focused effort, you won't achieve it. And if you don't maintain order in the productivity system you create, you allow room for procrastination. Your productivity system is one out of many that will be messy at the start, even if you copy it from your favorite productivity teacher. Your lifestyle and work have many nuances that can only be accounted for in your direct experience. Through experimentation, failure, and problem solving, your routine will become more enjoyable and efficient the longer you stick to the path. Productivity is about getting from point A to point B as fast as possible. Productivity is not about seeing who can work the longest so you can brag to your friends, family, and coworkers. Like your home bookshelf, if you don't have a system for your work, you'll get overwhelmed with the tasks that continue to scatter in front of you. When you are overwhelmed, if you don't have a system, routine, or plan to focus your mind, the intensity of that overwhelm will increase. Now that when entropy has its grasp on your productivity, it may lead to a week-long downward spiral of emotions and laziness. Nobody wants that. If you were to loosely identify with a positive version of success and the projects that will take you there, you will have the desire to refine a path to aid in the survival of those concepts. If you create a vision for your future that holds meaning, you will subconsciously work to survive that vision. If you create an identity that makes the automatic decision to build your future for 4 hours every day, you will work to survive that identity, even if you can only spend 30 minutes on that vision at this point in your life. Why? Because if you don't survive the things that make you you, then you experience the concept of death. The thought of death fills us with fear because it is the embodiment of the absolute unknown. If we don't live at our edge, a chaotic state of mind is the default. We can either transmute that fear toward beneficial outcomes or become slaves to it. So let's take a meta approach to productivity. I am not going to give you exact steps. A prescriptive how is not as powerful as you think, even if it's what your mind craves. Instead, I will give you a few helpful starting points so that you can begin to create your own how with time, experimentation, and iteration. First, why 4 hours? Conceptual systems need mental energy to thrive. From personal experience, scientific studies, and anecdotes from the world's most respected creatives, 3 to 5 hours is a sweet spot for mental energy expenditure. Focus is a muscle that fatigues with time. At the start, you will notice the difficulty of pure, unbroken focus for even 30 minutes. As you train your focus through conscious repetition, you will be able to do more quality work in 4 hours than the average individual can in a week. Second, 4 hours creates the frame of a game that you can play to win. If you play the character of someone that only works 4 hours and you've internalized that trait, then you will feel the pressure to complete your work within that time. Even better, when you chunk that work session up into smaller time blocks, you create a powerful environment to narrow your focus into a productive state of good stress. All right, that's it for today. Thank you so much for being here, and I hope you have a wonderful afternoon, and I'll see you tomorrow.